Hi guys, welcome to another How to Play. Today we're going to be taking a look at Harry Potter Adventure miniature game by 9 Models. It's a 2-player game mainly. It can however be played 1-player solo or even more cooperatively. So there are various different modes. There's even a campaign mode if you buy the Chamber of Secrets Chronicle box that follows the story of Chamber of Secrets. There's 10 scenarios that follow one from the other. As you can imagine, it is a wizard's dueling game, so usually it's a light side versus dark side, i.e. so it's Hogwarts versus Death Eaters, but there is also a magical creatures side, which you can use Acromantula, there's trolls, unicorns, various creatures like that. Yeah, let's get down to the table and take a look. I'll take you through the basics. Cheers guys. Hi everyone, so here we are. This is a quick setup of a small game. So today I'm just going to show you a 20 galleon game. Just so you get a rough idea, 30 galleons in the rulebook is classed as a short game, 50 galleons is a normal game, and then 75 to 100 is a long game. So this being a demo, it's literally 20 galleons, so you're not going to see everything that happens in the game, but you should hopefully get a good idea. So to start with, if I take you through a card, so as you can see on the back, this shows the affiliation of the model. So this is a Hogwarts model, for instance, so you've got Crab, he can be used as Hogwarts or as a Death Eater, and then you also have magical creatures, Acromantula, trolls, unicorns, stuff like that. So obviously we've got one Hogwarts side, and we're also doing a Death Eater side. Then on the card we have the Mastery, which is shown here by the amount of wands. So basically the number of wands here count as automatic successes when making casting rolls. That's when trying to cast any spells. Defense, shown by the shields. The amount of shields are automatic successes when defending. And then we have the Cunning at the bottom. The number and type of power. So white is light power, and then there's black, which is dark power. And then there's also some add grey, which can only be used for neutral spells essentially. Some models add white or black, you choose which one. The Cunning is also used to determine who goes first, like who gets the initiative at the start of each round. So you add up your team's Cunning, whoever's got the most goes first. There is also Magic, Courage, Wisdom and Temper, shown in the top right here. These are used to determine when doing challenges from either the event or adventure deck. We have item slots, which are at the top. As you can see, this model has 2 item slots, but obviously no items. We then have a spell book, which is at the bottom, so he's got space for 1 spell. And there is also an inherent spell. So Ron has Confundo, and then we'll also show you what happens when you cast the spell. So, start of each turn, the spell begins in a ready phase. This is shown by the time turner, and the blue arrow is pointed to the top. Once you cast the spell, you essentially turn it over so that it shows that it has been used, and then at the start of every magic phase you then turn it 45 degrees to the right or clockwise, and then if it says cooldown 1 you keep it, but then like the next turn you'll turn it, and if it's facing down it then says keep turning, so then you turn it again straight away, it still says keep turning, so then it goes straight back to the top, and then you turn it back over to blue. What that shows is that will take 1 turn till it's ready to use again. Some spells take a lot longer, so the more powerful they are, they take a lot longer. The bottom, sorry, whilst we're still on it, the bottom right is the amount of power it takes to cast the spell. This will be taken from your power pool, which, as I said earlier, is made up from your cunning. There is also a range. Most spells are range 4. That's the maximum range of the model. Then it'll have the effect of the spell, and then the difficulty here. So that says difficulty 0. What that means is that even if your opponent defends the amount of successes you get and it equals the same, it would still go off. You'd have to beat the defense for you to stop it. Some spells are much harder to go off. Others, like you said, difficulty 0, it's not too bad. Yeah, so we'll go on to the round sequence now. So you get the start phase, and then it goes into the magic phase. So during the magic phase, you replenish your power pool. This is where your light and dark power get added back into the pool, depending upon what you've used throughout the previous turn. Unspent power is lost. You don't keep adding to it. If a model is knocked out, you would not get their power for the following turn. Only active models add their power, add their cunning and power. You advance the cooldown clock like I showed you on the spell. Blue is ready to cast. Red token shows that you need to rotate the token clockwise and keep going around till it's back to the top. Then do the initiative phase. Again, this is where we add the power up. And then the meat and bones of the game is the activation phase. So this is where, starting with the player with the initiative, you alternate activating models. So you would do the Death Eaters, they would have an activation, and then the Hogwarts affiliation would have an activation, and they go back and forth until all models are activated. When you activate a model, you get 2 actions to do. You're allowed 1 basic action and 1 advanced action. The basic actions are move up to 3 spaces. However, there are different models have different special rules, but we won't be covering them today. And then you can use a potion. That's another basic action. Your advanced actions are attack with a physical ability, which nobody here has any knives or swords or anything, or then you can cast a spell. Again, we'll go through that as we come to it, casting spells. And then you do the end phase, you resolve in effects. So here we are with the models on the table. Going to take you through a rough demo of the duel mode, which is 1 player versus another player. You can do teams, so if you wanted to do bigger point size, or even just you wanted to control 1 model each. So here we have Harry Potter and Ron Weasley versus Draco Malfoy, Crabbe and Goyle. Crabbe and Goyle. So the start of each round, we draw 3 of the quest cards. So the quest cards each round are what you're trying to score. So these will give you ideas of how you gain points. So here you see land grab. So if at the end of your turn at least 2 friendly models are in a space within or adjacent to the opponent's deployment zone, score 2 VP. So as you can see, if we had Harry and Ron got across, they'll get 2 VP. More the better is when you score any VP during a round, score 1 additional VP. And then we have recover. So as you can see here, it says your opponent must place an objective marker on the board no closer than 3 spaces to any board edge. Any friendly model in the space adjacent to the marker during its activation can remove the marker from the board. Place the marker on the model's character card as a reminder. If during any round the model is with the marker enters its original deployment zone, score 3 VP. So essentially, the heroes are going to have to get over to the Death Eater side, collect something, we'll have an orb, and then they've got to get back to the other side. So they're going to place that just there. So that's not within 3 of any table edge. For the Death Eaters, we have defeat them. So when 2 enemy models are removed from play in the same round, score 2 VP. So if they can knock out both models, they score 2. Spell Slinging. If during a round you successfully hit 3 or more enemy models with combat spells, score 2 VP, then discard this card. If your group comprises only of magical creatures, immediately gain 1 VP and discard it. And then they also have the more the better. So these are trying to cast some spells at them and hurt them. The heroes are just trying to run across and grab them. So once you have your quest cards, you are allowed to discard one and then draw one back up. But for now, we're happily going to keep them. At the start of each round, whoever has the initiative, so that's the Death Eaters, they draw 1 event card, and this affects the whole game. And this affects the whole turn. So, Catastrophic Misfortune. Oh, bad luck. Remove 2 power points from your power pool. You may choose which colour points are discarded. So, they lose 2 power points. They're only down to 2. However, that's at the start of the round. Then we do adventure cards. So, adventure cards are drawn. So we draw 3 of them. Whoever goes first, i.e. in this point it's the Death Eaters, they don't get to choose one of these. However, from the second activation onwards, when you activate a model, you get to choose one of these. So it can either buff you or it can hinder your opponent. But whoever has the initiative can't choose one. That's like a little balancing mechanic. So now that the objectives are placed, the quest cards are drawn, and then the adventure and event cards are out, we're ready to start. So the Death Eaters are going to activate their first model, and they're just going to choose Crab, who's going to go 1, 2, 3. He's not going to use his second action because he doesn't want to attack or cast a spell. Onto the good side, Ron is going to choose this. So he's going to choose to place this model up to 4 spaces away. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's that used. Ron is then going to activate, and he's going to choose to move by going 1, 2, 3, and then he's going to cast Stupefy. It's a range of 4, so we know he's easily in range, and we'll take you through a casting spell. So when you cast the spell, as we said, you turn it over to show that it's been used, and then we roll the dice. So when doing any sort of attack or any test, you roll 3 dice. As you roll them, 1s and 2s are misses, successes happen on 3+. So we've got 1 success. 6s are what's called exploding dice. So for every 6 you roll, you get to roll another dice. So Ron scored 2. We add that to his mastery of 1, so he has a total of 3. Crab is then going to use his defend the spell. So Crab rolls 1, 2, 3 successes, so the Death Eaters are doing well. The exploding dice, he rolls another, so that's 4 successes for Crab and only 3 successes for Ron Weasley, including his mastery. Crab doesn't have any defense built in, however, he doesn't need it, he's still successful. Next model to activate, we will choose this, move 1 extra space during a move action, and we're going to activate Malfoy, who's going to go 1, 2, 3, but because of the event card, you can move an extra space. Still out of range, so then we go over to the heroes. Harry Potter's activation, he's going to choose this one. +1 die to its next attack roll. So Harry Potter is going to try and do this effectively. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. He's now in range. And he's going to roll 3 dice for his attack, and he's going to use Flipendo. So this is the last 2 of the power, because Stupefy cost 1 and Flipendo cost 2. So this is the difficulty of 1, so that means we have to beat Draco's defense by 1. So we get 3 successes, good old Harry Potter, and the exploding is a miss. And Draco, he defends. Oh, so it's 2 successes, but they were exploding, so he gets 4. Draco has 1 defense, so he goes to 5, and Harry Potter has 2 mastery, so he goes to 5 as well. However, with a difficulty of 1, Harry Potter needed to beat Malfoy by 1. He doesn't, so that is Harry Potter's activation done. The last one is then Goyle, who is just going to go 1, 2, 3 and stay there. So now that's the end of the round. We have no effects at the end of the round, and then we go into the replenish power pool. So Harry Potter and Ron get their 3 back, and the Death Eaters get back to 4. So there is no spells to upkeep, and then we do the advance to cooldown clock. So this is where any spells that are on red, we spin them clockwise. So Flipendo is now on cooldown 1, as is Stupefy for Ron. Then we compare the total cunning, so it's still 4 to 3, so the Death Eaters still have it. So then we do these now. So we have the first spell cast by each model this round costs 1 less power. So that's quite useful. And then the 3 adventure cards. So who wants to activate first? So I've got Death Eaters activating first. So, oh wait, no, they don't get to choose that. Ignore me. So Crab is going to go 1 and 2. Just move there, because when you are moving past a model, whether it's friend or foe, it takes 2 movement for each. So if Ron went to there, it'd be 1, but then that would be 2 and 3. So this is essentially like a blocking tactic that Crab is trying to do here. And then Crab is going to attempt Stupefy, targeting Ron. So he's got a mastery of 1, and then we add just the 1. How very true to form. And then Ron Weasley, he has 2 inbuilt defense. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus his 2 inbuilt defense. He's on 7. Ron is fine. Harry Potter is going to activate now. Harry feels like he's in a bit of a pickle here. So he's going to choose this one for 2 free power points. So Expecto Patronum costs 3. I've just got 2 for free from here. So we only have to spend 1 of our own pool to do Expecto Patronum. Expecto Patronum doesn't target a model, it just targets a hex within 3. So we're going to place it there. So we're going to place it there. And this basically just helps add a defense. It adds an inherent defense to any friendly model within 2. So we're going to try and cast it. It's got a difficulty of 4. However, Harry has a mastery of 2. So essentially we just need 2 successes. Look at that. So Harry's got 3. Didn't need to roll that, but we still will. So there we go. The Patronus is successfully cast. So that means any friendly models within 2 spaces of the stag get a +1 bonus to their defense. Back to the Death Eaters. Let's activate Goyle. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, and then cast 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to also cast Stupefy. So Goyle has a mastery of 1. So we've got 2 successes plus his inbuilt, so he's on 3. And Ron has a defense of 2. Only 1 success though, so that means Ron takes a damage. So when taking damage, we use these damage counters. So the first 2 steps are yellow and then orange. What that then means is, when you're damaged, any spells you then cast cost 1 extra power. Your 3rd and 4th damage you take, which is purple and then pink, not only do your spells cost 1 extra damages, but then 6s no longer explode. So really becomes difficult once you're on to your 3rd and 4th damage. On your 5th damage, when you would take it, you are essentially KO'd. So back onto the good side. Let's activate Ron. Ron is then going to go 1, 2, 3, because he's moving adjacent to Goyle, Crab, sorry. And he's not going to cast anything, he's going to leave it at that. Next activation, Draco Malfoy is going to cast Stupefy on Harry. So that costs 1. However, I've been forgetting to do Magical Storm, and he's going to take that as well. So 1 Jinxed Mystery die to the first roll made by... Oh, Jinxed Mystery. As I'm showing you here, don't forget to use them. That would have been quite useful earlier on. Anyway, Draco is going to spend... He would have to spend 1, but due to this, it doesn't cost anything. So I'm going to cast Stupefy on Harry Potter. That's 1 success that explodes. Oh, another explodes. Oh, wow. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. And I thought I couldn't roll dice. So that's 5 successes, plus his mastery of 2, so that's 7. Then Harry Potter rolls 2, with his inbuilt defense goes to 4. So that means that Harry has also taken a damage from Stupefy. And there we have it, guys. There's a quick rundown of the basics and a few turns of Harry Potter Adventure Miniature Game. Hope you enjoyed it, hope you find it useful. What we'll do is we'll get some of our local players on to get some battles going. Show you how a proper crew works together, how the synergy works. More damage can be dealt. Almost you can get like scheme runners kind of things. You can get to the objectives better, more efficiently. Yeah, it's great fun. We'll show you some full games of it soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you.